Hello and welcome to another street video. We're down by the river Tahoe at the moment. If I just cross over, you'll be able to see where it's still quite a long way down below us. Castle and the Alcántara bridge. But I'm on a walk this time away from the city streets because I want to show you the riverside walk, which is part of the Ruta de Don Quijote, which is a tourist walking route named after the character made famous by the novel of Miguel Cervantes. So I've climbed down already just now. I counted 150 steps of a staircase from the Miradero terrace. So I wanted to get us to the start of the route. So we're at the point on the Ruta de Don Quijote, which is marked by these tiles. And at this point, we're going to go along a walkway, which is fixed into the hillside above the river. And it really is lovely and peaceful, away from the crowded city streets. And it's reasonably flat and level, which means hopefully I won't get quite so out of breath as I have on some of the other walks. So this walkway is clearly just for pedestrians. You can see parts of it cut through the rock here. And on the far side of the river, there's a road which goes round the river valley, and it has a pavement as well, so that's another fantastic walking route. But here we're going to stay close to the rocks, and a little bit further on we'll drop down to the river level itself. You can see they've got some metal mesh fixed to the rocks in some places, just to protect the pathway here from any loose bits that may crumble and fall. And there are occasions where they close the walkway to do some repairs. So the river is known in Spain as the Rio Tahoe. It's commonly known as the River Tagus to the European speaking world. And I've read that it's the longest river on the Iberian Peninsula. So it's flowing here from further north in the city of Madrid, and then it flows around Toledo itself and carries on for several more kilometres as it winds its way towards the sea in Portugal. So you can see there are some trees that manage to grow on the steep hillside. Not sure if you get the impression from the film how steep it is. You can just see the edge of some houses high up above us there. As the walkway opens out, there's fantastic views across to the other side and to the river below. So these walks are obviously popular with local people as well when they do fitness walking or jogging. So there's some nice circular routes. And there's some other activities that take place on the rocks themselves where climbers using ropes and other equipment climb up those rock faces on that boulder opposite us. On the opposite side of that, on the top and on the southern slopes, there's some archaeological excavations showing the remains of some walls of buildings. So if people have got enough energy, they don't have to climb up the rocks. There is actually a zigzag path on the other side of that. You can see the river's quite low at the moment. There's a lot of rocks exposed that would otherwise be underwater. You may be able to hear a bell being rung at the small chapel that's above us on the hillside on the opposite bank of the river. It's a beautiful little chapel, and there's a restaurant that's been built on the rock side as well, just next to it. So we're in quite an exposed, open, sunny part of the route at the moment. You can see there's part of a city wall above us. I'm going to keep going so that I can show you where we're going to head down there to the riverside. And it's much more shady because there are trees and plants planted at the riverside itself. So they have built some new wooden steps down as an alternative to this route that I'm taking, but I prefer these ones, the original cobblestone stairs, which are, well, there are lots of them as you'll see, but they've got quite a shallow tread, so both for going up and down it's a little bit easier on the knees. Those are the wooden steps you can see that they built last year, which looked like a bit of a shortcut on the route itself, but as I say, these ones I find a little bit easier as we go past some houses. Some beautiful buildings. Actually, I think that's an engineering type building to do with the river itself. So it looks like a medieval house, but it's... I'll just briefly show you here where there's some chaps are repairing a little ferry boat that goes across the river. It's attached to a cable so it can get winched across to the steps on the far side. So that's, not sure how long that river crossing's been here, but if you didn't want to walk all the way round on the bridges, that would be a route to take. I can hear the geese making a lot of noise, so perhaps they're being fed just round the corner here. Or perhaps they're wanting to be fed. Yes, it looks like they're wanting to be fed. So here we are down near the river itself. And you can hear the rushing of the water as it goes over a number of weirs that form part of the route around the city. So I suppose you could say that the walled city itself is protected by a wall on 3 sides and by the river on the 4th side. So we can only really see at this point the houses that are closest to us. But all of the roads that climb up from this point all head towards the cathedral in the centre of the old town. And even though the river's low at the moment, there's a huge volume of water that's going over this weir, and there are some buildings strategically placed that I think will have been used in some way in the past, using the power of the water to power machinery or other equipment. Yeah, there's a good view of the wall above us. Some scaffolding up there as they're doing some repairs. Again, even though this route has widened up a bit, it's still really just for pedestrians walking. It's wide enough for the city council to bring their service vehicles down here when they're doing work on the park or some construction. Lots of benches and other things in this area for people to enjoy, including a beach. That's rather wonderful at this point. We've got some geese and their youngsters crossing the path. Right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 little goslings. I think we'll finish this video by me walking across this very sandy area, which they're calling the Playa, the beach of Toledo. Unfortunately, people aren't allowed to swim in the river because they say it's polluted. But it's very, very sandy. And despite what they say, the river looks very nice. So I'm going to do the second part of this walk in a second video now, which will take us back towards the bridge of St Martin. So thanks for joining me on this walk. If you click the channel logo, it should take you to one of the other videos. Bye for now.